Transforming your life through hypnotherapy has never been easier. With the help of your host, Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and these power-packed minisodes, you're sure to find yourself engaging in more positive behaviors around both your physical and mental health. Here's your host, Julie.
G'day, it's Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and I'm here to address the topic of the one best memory hypnosis win of 2022, because you deserve to know if a hypnotist can count cards at a casino or help you remember a forgotten Bitcoin password, or if we know how to wipe someone's memory, because people are sick of being champions of society and just want to know if there's a shortcut. I'm not a therapist or psychotherapist, but this is my 9th year as a clinical hypnotherapist in strategic psychotherapy. I currently help my clients online. They change their life without changing out of their pajamas. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Don or Tyler Tolman's memory and imagination techniques, but Tyler recently had success with 30 people memorizing a deck of cards in 30 days and recalling 100 bits of information. Or maybe you're familiar with Darren Brown's tricks of the mind memory techniques. Or maybe you already know there are some amazing dedicated memory specialists out there, like the Australian champion Tenzil Ali, who is 4 times memory champion. He's memorized 2 phone books in 24 days. He even memorized the phone numbers and the websites in those adverts. Hilarious. And in 2020, Emma Alam from Pakistan was the world memory champion, who memorized 410 random words in 15 minutes, 218 random names and faces. Wouldn't that be a useful thing, to be able to remember 218 random faces at your next social occasion, networking event, or starting a new career? And then there's the United States 4 times memory champion Nelson Dellis, who has memorized 9 decks of cards and 200 names only given to him once. This memory guru, Nelson Dellis, has most likely made himself the most valuable memory bank in the world. And his advice is to disconnect from technology for at least an hour per day, because he says your brain is a processing unit. And if your brain isn't present to receive information, how on earth do you think you're going to remember? And he's right. When hypnotists are asked to help someone to find a lost Bitcoin password for $10,000, how do we know that the client has already created a memory there in the first place? Because everyone is resourceful 100% of the time, except when they aren't. People typically only remember 5 to 7 things at any one time. When they should have remembered their Bitcoin password, they might have been thinking about the air conditioning, what the computer update was on their computer screen when their Uber Eats was arriving, if they needed to use the bathroom, and if they had a stain on their t-shirt. That's 5 things, and maybe you can remember 7 things at any given time. So were you also thinking about your text on your mobile phone and the room temperature of the air? As humans, we typically operate from a favored modality, visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. You might see someone point to the sky and say, "Look, the sky is blue," and they're probably visual. Someone else might say, "Did you hear the thunder?" They might be auditory. And someone else might say, "Did you feel the chill of the wind?" They are most likely kinesthetic and prefer how things feel. But if I were to now give you a few easy math problems, you can check if you feel, hear, or visualize the answer, okay? 1 + 1. Good. How about 63% of people get wrong most of the time? 6 times A, 48. What if I were to ask you to spell the word heart backwards? TRAEH. You deserve to be able to create strong memories, and the best way to learn how to do this is to start with illegal card counting at home. But first you need to remember an entire deck of cards. In order to remember just one card with a really strong memory, you need to add visuals with movement to that card, sounds like bells chiming or drums banging, feelings that get you all worked up. What almost all memory experts do is they take a room they are familiar with, like their lounge room, and imagine one card at a time. Let's start with the Queen of Hearts. Imagine emoji love hearts bursting out. Visualize the Queen of Hearts marching across the top of your television screen, backwards and forwards. From now on, the Queen of Hearts lives on top of your TV, marching and bursting with heart emojis. If you tune in carefully, you can hear the marching band and the beating of drums, bagpipes, and a choir of angels echoing from the TV. In the pit of your stomach, like you've just eaten cake, jam and cream scones, or sponge cake, your tummy feels sweetly satisfied. It's not a heavy chocolate feeling in the back of your throat. It distinctly feels much more like cake with jam and cream. It's a light but very sweet feeling. Now take that feeling and let it remind you of feeling loved and cared for, all over the tops of your shoulders and upper arms. In fact, right there on the tops of your shoulders and upper arms, it gives you that feeling of loving life. Now you'll remember the Queen of Hearts. Because you are a resourceful person, you are a human resource tuning in to your resourcefulness 100% of the time, aren't you? Can hypnotists help wipe memories? Kind of. It reminds me, I once had a woman call me up because she wanted me to hypnotize her daughter and make her 30-year-old daughter no longer go to church because she didn't like that church her daughter was going to. Ethically, I can't do that because the daughter hasn't asked me to do that to her. So in that case, no, I can't wipe her daughter's memory or manipulate it in some way. And maybe you might or might not be aware that sometimes clients have auditory memories. They're not visuals and not feelings. They have memories of sounds. And it reminds me, one of the leading hypnotherapists who had a client who had an auditory memory. And the client said his mother was still nagging him from her grave 20 years later. And sometimes people are unsure if they should have those weird experiences removed. But here is the one best memory hypnosis win of 2022, temporary amnesia. Because you deserve to forget what that politician just said, that car that just pulled out in front of you, or that one time you had too many drinks. You are winning the game of life, spending your valuable time creating dreams, planning lifelong goals, stepping up as a leader. And how you create temporary amnesia is by simply saying to yourself, you can remember to forget and forget to remember. Remember to forget and forget to remember. So what if you thought about memory hypnosis differently? But what if you didn't? The choice is yours.